Before we begin, take a breath. Feel the air moving in and out. You are not your thoughts, not your past, not even the story that brought you here. If this moment feels quiet, that is not emptiness, it is space. And in that space, you begin to wake up. If you wish to explore this depth of awareness, to live from stillness rather than from noise, subscribe, and let us journey into the now together. Have you ever felt the weight of another's presence? Not their physical weight, but the density of their inner state. It is a feeling, is it not? A subtle pressure in the space around you, a quiet drain upon the stillness that you are. We often say, that person drained my energy, and we believe it to be a transaction, a taking of something from us. But what if it is not a taking, but a resonance, a reflection? What if their inner noise simply awakens the noise that lies dormant within you? Consider this. You are sitting in a quiet room. The air is still, the light soft. There is a gentle hum, perhaps from the world outside, but it is distant, a part of the silence. In this space, you can feel the aliveness in your hands, the subtle rise and fall of your chest with each breath. There are no problems here. Not in this moment. There is only being. And then another enters. They do not speak, not at first. But they bring with them a storm of thought, a whirlwind of unresolved emotion. The air thickens. The silence is no longer restful, it feels charged. You feel a tension in your own body, a sudden urge to think, to analyze, to fix. What has happened? Did they project their state onto you? Or did their state simply reveal the part of you that is always ready to be disturbed? The part that is always waiting for the next problem, the next story, the next reason to become lost in thought. This es de ego. It is not a thing, not an entity, but a process. A continuous, self-referential loop of thinking and feeling, of memory and anticipation. It thrives on problems, on conflict, on the drama of my life. When you are in the presence of someone deeply identified with this process, their unconsciousness calls to your own. Their mind-made storm finds an echo in the part of you that has forgotten the stillness of the ocean beneath the waves. The real reason people seem to drain your energy is not because they take something from you, but because they activate the energy-consuming mechanism within you. The compulsive need to think, to judge, to label, to resist what is. They pull you out of the timeless vertical dimension of presence and into the horizontal dimension of time, of past and future, of regret and anxiety. And in that dimension, there is endless struggle. The struggle to maintain a self-image, to defend a point of view, to get somewhere you are not. This struggle is what consumes energy. It is a fire fed by thought, and the presence of another who is burning brightly with their own inner fire can cause the embers within you to reignite. But see this without judgment. See it with a gentle, compassionate awareness. This is the human condition in its unawakened state. To be a prisoner of the thinking mind, to believe that you are the voice in your head. It is a trance, a collective dream from which we are now beginning to awaken. And the first step in awakening is to notice. To notice the pull, the inner reaction, the sudden loss of peace. And in that noticing, a space is created. A space between the stimulus, the other person's state, and your response. In that space lies your freedom. Allow yourself to feel that space now. Perhaps you can recall a recent encounter where you felt this drain, this subtle sense of depletion. Do not go into the story of it. Do not analyze who was right or wrong. Simply feel the echo of that sensation in your body. Where did you feel it? A tightness in the chest? A knot in the stomach? A buzzing in the head? The body does not lie. It is the most faithful barometer of your inner state. It will always tell you when you have abandoned the present moment and become entangled in the mind. Now, can you bring a gentle, accepting awareness to that residual feeling? Can you breathe into it? Not to make it go away, but simply to be with it, to allow it to be. The moment you allow a feeling to be, without labeling it as bad or negative, without resisting it, something profound happens. The feeling is no longer fueled by the energy of your resistance. It is allowed to exist in the space of your awareness, and in that space, it begins to dissolve. Like a cloud in the vastness of the sky, it passes. It was never you. It was an energy pattern, a conditioned response, a wave on the surface of your being. You are the sky, not the cloud. You are the ocean, not the wave. This is the beginning of the dissolution of the ego. The ego cannot survive in the light of your awareness. It thrives in the darkness of unconsciousness. When you bring the light of your attention to your inner state, the egoic patterns begin to lose their power. The compulsive thinking slows down. The emotional reactions soften. You no more feed them with your identification. You realize that you are not the thinker, but the awareness behind the thinker. You are not the emotion, but the space in which the emotion is felt. This is the great liberation. So the next time you feel that familiar sense of being drained by another, pause. Turn your attention inward. Notice the pull of the mind to create a story, a grievance, a sense of me and other. And then gently bring your awareness back to the inner body. Feel the life in your hands, your feet, your chest. Feel the breath flowing in and out. Anchor yourself in the present moment. In that state of presence, you are no longer a reactive fragment of a mind. You are a field of still, silent awareness. And in that field, the other is not separate from you. Their unconsciousness is met not with more unconsciousness, but with the compassionate embrace of your presence. You do not need to shield yourself, to build walls, to protect your energy. Protection is a function of the ego, born of fear. Presence is your only true protection. It is a state of being so vast, so deep, that the small storms of human interaction can pass through it without leaving a trace. You become like the deep ocean. The surface may be turbulent, with waves crashing and winds blowing. But in your depths, there is only stillness. Complete, unshakable peace. This is not a state you need to achieve or attain. It is who you are in your essence. It is the ever-present background to the foreground of your life. The journey is not one of becoming, but of unbecoming. Of letting go of all the things you are not, your thoughts, your history, your egoic identity, and resting in the simple, profound truth of your being. The world will continue to present you with people and situations that will test your presence. See them not as obstacles, but as teachers. Each person who seems to drain your energy is, in fact, offering you a precious gift, an opportunity to awaken, an invitation to go deeper into the stillness, to find the source of all energy, all peace, all joy, not in the world outside, but in the depths of your own being. And from that place, you can meet the world with an open heart, and your very presence becomes a healing force, a silent offering of peace to all who cross your path. The mind, in its relentless pursuit of identity, grasps onto stories. It is a storyteller, a weaver of narratives that define me. I am the one who is wronged. I am the one who is misunderstood. I am the one who is striving, who is failing, who is succeeding. Each of these thoughts is a thread in the tapestry of the ego. And this tapestry, while seemingly providing a sense of self, is also a cage. It limits the vastness of who you are to a small, finite, and ultimately unsatisfactory character in a play of your own making. Consider the nature of a story. It requires a past to give it context, and a future to give it purpose. The me of the story is always moving from a past that defined it, toward a future that will hopefully redeem it. And so, the present moment is overlooked. It is treated as a mere stepping stone, a means to an end. But the present moment is all there ever is. Life is always now. And to miss the now is to miss life itself. When you are with another person who is deeply lost in their story, they are not really with you. They are with their interpretation of you, an interpretation that is filtered through the lens of their own story. They see you as a character in their play, a friend, an enemy, a rival, a savior. They are reacting not to you, but to the projection of their own mind. And if you are not fully present, you will unconsciously accept the role they have assigned you. You will be drawn into their dream, their drama. You will begin to play a part in their story, and in doing so, you will forget the truth of who you are. This is the deeper mechanism of the energy drain. It is the entanglement of two dreamers, each reinforcing the other's trance. Their story triggers your story. Their unacknowledged pain awakens your unacknowledged pain. And you find yourselves in a dance of unconsciousness, a subtle or not so subtle conflict of two egos, each fighting for its own survival, its own definition, its own rightness. But what happens when you step out of your story? What happens when you refuse to play the part assigned to you by another's mind? This is not an act of aggression or of withdrawal. It is an act of supreme intelligence, of profound compassion. It is the act of being present. When you are fully present, you are not a character in a story. You are the space in which the story is happening. You are the silent, aware presence that witnesses the thoughts, the emotions, the drama, without becoming entangled in them. Imagine you are holding a heavy weight. The weight is your story, your egoic self. You have been holding it for so long, you have forgotten you are holding it. It has become a part of you. The tension in your muscles, the strain in your back, this is the effort of maintaining this false self. Now, what if you simply let it go? What if you just dropped it? There would be a sudden lightness, a release, a feeling of spaciousness. This is the feeling of presence. It is the recognition that you are not the weight. You are the one who is holding the weight, and you can choose to put it down, at any moment. In this moment, When you are in this state of presence, you meet the other person not from the level of the mind, of the story, but from the level of being. You see beyond their egoic shell, beyond the character they are playing, and you connect with the deeper essence of who they are. The same essence that is within you. In that moment of true connection, there is no other. There is no sense of separation. There is only a shared field of awareness. In this field, there is no drain of energy. On the contrary, there is an influx of energy. For you are no longer operating from the limited resources of your personal self. You are connected to the source of all energy, the infinite intelligence of life itself. Your presence becomes a silent invitation to the other person to also step out of their story, to also put down their burden. You do not need to say a word. Your state of being is the teaching. Your peace is the message. This is not to say that you will no longer encounter people who are deeply unconscious. You will. The world is full of them. But your relationship to them will change. You will no longer see them as a threat to your peace. You will see their unconsciousness as a call for presence. You will feel a deep sense of compassion for the suffering they are inflicting upon themselves, for the prison of their own mind in which they are trapped. And you will know that the only true help you can offer is not to engage with their drama, not to try to fix their story, but to hold the space of presence for them, to be the stillness in the midst of their storm. This is the greatest gift you can give to another and to yourself. So, the invitation is this, to become aware of the stories you tell yourself. The stories of who you are, what you need, what has been done to you. And to see that they are just that, stories. They are not the truth of who you are. The truth of who you are cannot be captured in words, in thoughts, in concepts. It can only be felt in the stillness of the present moment. Let go of the need to define yourself. Let go of the need to have a story. Rest in the not knowing. In that empty space, a new kind of intelligence arises. An intelligence that is not of the mind, but of the whole. You begin to act not from a place of calculation and strategy, but from a place of deep intuition, of alignment with the flow of life. Your actions become more effective, more powerful, and yet, they are effortless. You are no longer swimming against the current. You are the current. And when you meet another, you will see them with new eyes. You will see the divine essence shining through the cracks of their egoic personality. And you will know that, just like you, they are on a journey of awakening. And you can meet them there, in that shared space of presence, beyond all stories, beyond all conflict, in the one reality that is, and always will be, the eternal now. There comes a moment, perhaps not in a flash of lightning, but in a quiet dawn of knowing, when the observer and the observed begin to feel like two ends of the same breath. You have watched your thoughts for so long. You have named them, felt them, allowed them to pass without judgment. You have become the sky to their fleeting clouds. But then a subtle shift occurs. It is a moment of profound, and yet utterly simple, realization. You are not just the sky that holds the clouds. You are the stillness from which both the sky and the clouds arise. The awareness that is watching is not separate from the thought that is being watched. It is the source of it. This is not something the mind can grasp. The mind wants to remain the watcher, the entity that is separate, that is in control. To the mind, the idea of dissolving into the very thing it has been observing is terrifying. It is annihilation. But it is not an annihilation of you. It is the annihilation of an illusion. The illusion of a separate self, a me, that lives inside your head, that is the thinker of your thoughts, the feeler of your emotions. This me is a construct, a bundle of memories and conditioning, held together by the glue of continuous, compulsive thinking. When you realize that you are the awareness in which this construct appears, the glue begins to dissolve. Imagine you are in a completely dark room. You cannot see the walls, the floor, the ceiling. You do not even know if they exist. There is only the darkness. And then a single candle is lit. In the light of the candle, the room appears. You can see the furniture, the shapes, the colors. The candle is your thought. The room is the world your thought creates. But what are you? Are you the candle? Are you the room? Or are you the space in which the candle and the room appear? And what is that space made of? It is made of the potential for light, the potential for form. Before the candle was lit, there was not nothing. There was everything in its unmanifested state. The moment of realization is the moment you stop identifying with the candle and the room, and you sense yourself as the space. You are the silent, aware emptiness that allows all things to be. And in that emptiness is a fullness, a richness, that the mind could never comprehend. It is the peace that passes all understanding. It is the joy of being. This is not a passive state. It is a state of vibrant aliveness. When you are no longer burdened by the weight of a conceptual self, your energy is freed. You are no longer spending your life force maintaining an illusion. You are available to the present moment in its totality. And the present moment is always new, always fresh, always alive with possibility. The voice in your head, the one that has been your constant companion, your narrator, your judge, begins to quiet down. It may still speak from time to time, out of old habit, but you no longer take it seriously. You hear it, as you would hear the sound of traffic in the distance. It is there, but it is not you. It no longer has the power to pull you into its stories, to make you suffer. And a new kind of inner dialogue begins. It is not the dialogue of the ego, the dialogue of conflict and desire. It is the voice of awareness speaking to itself. It is the universe waking up to its own consciousness, through you. It is a dialogue of wonder, of gratitude, of love. Look at this, it seems to whisper. Feel this. Be this. The conflict between what is and what should be dissolves. For in the state of presence, what is all there is. And it is always enough. More than enough. It is a miracle. The simple act of breathing, the feeling of the sun on your skin, the sound of a bird singing, each becomes an experience of profound depth and beauty. The ordinary becomes extraordinary when seen through the eyes of presence. This is the turning point, the peak from which you can see the landscape of your life with a new perspective. You see that all the struggles, all the pain, all the seeking were necessary. They were the pressure that was needed for the awakening to happen. They were the contractions before the birth. And you can feel a deep sense of gratitude for it all. For every moment that brought you to this moment. To this realization of who you are. You are not the wave. You are the ocean. And the wave was never separate from the ocean. It was just a temporary expression of it, a dance of form that rises and falls and returns to the source. And so there is no fear of death, for what is born in time will die in time. But you, the timeless awareness, were never born, and you will never die. You are the life that animates all forms, the one consciousness that is dreaming the dream of the universe. And in this realization, a great love is born. Not the conditional love of the ego, which is always seeking to get something for itself, but an unconditional love that is the very nature of your being. It is a love that flows out from you, not to anyone in particular, but to all of creation. For you see yourself in all things. The separation is over. There is only one. After the peak, the landscape settles. After the crescendo, there is the gentle, fading echo. This is the space of surrender. It is not a giving up, but a giving over. A yielding to the intelligence of life, which is far greater than the limited intelligence of the mind. Surrender is the recognition that you do not need to control everything. In fact, you cannot. The attempt to control is the source of all stress, all anxiety. To surrender is to align yourself with the flow of the present moment, to say yes to what is whatever it is. This yes is not a passive resignation. It is an active, conscious acceptance. When you say yes to the now, you are no longer in conflict with reality. And when you are not in conflict, a deep sense of peace arises from within. Let the narrative of your life breathe. Let it go. You do not need to know what is coming next. You do not need to have a plan for every eventuality. The mind loves to plan, to strategize, to worry about the future. It believes that through thinking, it can secure your happiness and safety. But the future is a phantom. It exists only as a thought in your head, and your worrying about it does not change it. It only robs you of the aliveness of this moment. Can you feel the stillness that is here, right now, underneath the surface of your thoughts? It is always here. It is your innermost nature. It is the background against which the movie of your life is playing. To access it, you do not need to do anything. You simply need to stop doing. Stop resisting. Stop struggling. Stop thinking. And in that stopping, you will find a silence that is not empty, but full of life. It is a silence that is pregnant with creativity, with wisdom, with love. It is the source from which all true art, all true science, all true inspiration arises. Take a moment to simply be with your breath. Feel the air coming into your body, and feel it leaving your body. Each breath is a gift. Each breath is a reminder that you are alive. You do not need to do anything to make yourself breathe. Life is breathing you. Can you surrender to that? Can you trust that the same intelligence that is beating your heart and digesting your food is also guiding the course of your life? When you live from this place of surrender, you are no longer a victim of circumstances. You see that every situation, every person, every challenge is here to teach you something, to help you awaken more fully. Even the most difficult situations can be your greatest teachers, if you meet them with acceptance and presence. What you resist persists. This is a fundamental law of consciousness. When you resist a situation, you are giving it your energy. You are making it stronger. When you accept it, you are no longer feeding it with your resistance. And then, you are free to act. But your action will arise not from a place of reaction, of fear, of anger, but from a place of deep inner peace, of clarity. This is the paradox of surrender. When you give up the need to control, you gain a deeper kind of power. A power that is not of the ego, but of life itself. You become an instrument for a purpose that is larger than your personal desires. You become a conduit for the creative intelligence of the universe. And so, the invitation is to practice surrender in the small moments of your day. When you find yourself getting impatient in a line of traffic, can you surrender to the waiting? Can you use that moment to feel the aliveness in your body? When someone criticizes you, can you surrender to the feeling of being hurt, without reacting, without defending? Can you just allow the feeling to be there, in the space of your awareness? Each time you do this, you are weakening the conditioned patterns of the ego. You are creating more space within you, more stillness, more peace. And this peace will begin to radiate from you. It will touch everyone you meet. It will be your gift to the world. Do not be concerned with the fruits of your actions. Simply give your full attention to the action itself. The doing is what matters, not the outcome. When you are fully present in the doing, you are aligned with the creative power of the universe. And the outcome will take care of itself. Let go of the heavy burden of being someone. Rest in the lightness of being no one in particular. Just a presence, a field of awareness. In this, there is great joy. The joy of simplicity. The joy of being. You do not need anything to be happy. Happiness is your nature. It is the joy of being conscious. And in this state of surrender, of presence, of stillness, you will find that the people and situations that used to drain your energy no longer have that effect. For you are no longer offering any resistance. You're like an open door. The wind may blow through, but it cannot harm you. You are one with the wind, one with the silence, one with all of life. And so we arrive back where we started, but with a new understanding. The journey is not about going somewhere else, but about being fully where you are. To live from this place of awareness is not a distant goal, but a present possibility. It is available to you in this very moment. How do you bring this awareness into your daily life, with all its demands, its challenges, its noise? You do it by bringing your attention to the simple things. The feeling of the water on your hands as you wash the dishes. The taste of your food as you eat. The sound of your own footsteps as you walk. Each of these moments is a doorway into presence. You do not need to meditate for hours on a cushion. Your life is your meditation. Every moment is an opportunity to practice, to be aware, to be present. When you're speaking with another person, can you give them your full attention? Can you listen not just with your ears, but with your whole being? Can you feel the silent space of awareness that you share? When you are working, can you be fully engaged in the task at hand, without thinking about the next task or the one after that? Can you bring a sense of quality, of care, of presence to whatever you are doing? Even the most mundane task can become a sacred act when performed with awareness. Do not look for grand, dramatic experiences of awakening. The awakening is happening in the small, quiet moments, in the space between your thoughts, in the stillness behind the noise of the world. This is where you will find the treasure, the peace that is beyond all understanding, the joy that has no opposite. And you will find that as you live more and more from this place of presence, your outer life begins to change. You will attract people and situations that are in harmony with your inner state. You will find that you are more creative, more intuitive, more effective in what you do. Not because you are trying harder, but because you are allowing a greater intelligence to flow through you. You are no longer a person who is trying to live a spiritual life. You are the spiritual life. You are the awareness that is the source of all life. You are the universe experiencing itself. This is not a belief. It is a lived reality. It is the truth of who you are, and it is waiting for you to recognize it, to claim it, to live it. So, the invitation is simple. Be here now. Feel the aliveness of this moment. Let go of the story of your life, and rest in the truth of your being. And from this place of stillness, of presence, of love, let your life unfold. Trust that it will be a beautiful and wondrous journey. For you are not alone. You are one with all of life. And you are guided and protected and loved always. And now, the words fade, but the silence remains. If you felt the stillness within this message, stay. Subscribe not to follow but to remember, again and again, that That presence is always here, waiting beneath every thought. The true teaching is not in the words you just heard, but in the space between them.